In this demonstration you will learn how to include metadata when you list blobs. Let's switch to Visual Studio. In the previous clip you learned how to load metadata for a blob. When the user clicks on this Reload Metadata button, the metadata is loaded. In this case, the metadata for the author MP4 file. But when the user of the Coffee Video Admin application clicks on Reload Videos, the metadata is gone, because it is not included by default when you list videos. So let's implement this. Let's stop the application. Here you can see the Reload Metadata Async method. We have used this method in the previous clip to fetch the metadata for a cloud blob by calling this fetch attributes async method. Actually, we can just copy this method and now we can scroll up to the list video blobs async method. Here is a to-do comment for you: ensure metadata is fetched for the listed blobs. Let's do this now and let's just remove this to-do comment. After all the blobs were loaded, you could just iterate all the cloud blobs from the cloud blobs collection, and on each cloud blob you could call the fetch attributes async method. Let's run the application. Yes, now you see the metadata is here by default. But let me show you a better approach. This for each loop executes a service request for every cloud blob. This could be a problem if you have many blobs. So let's remove this for each loop here and let me show you another approach to get the metadata for the listed blobs. There is an overload of the list blobs segmented async method that allows you to include the metadata for the listed blobs. So what we actually need are these blob listing details. So let's use the prefix, let's use flat blob listing, and now let's use the blob listing details. That's an enumeration, and you can see it contains a value metadata. If we specify that metadata value, the metadata will be included in the listed blobs. The blob listing details enumeration has the flags attribute, which means you can use the bitwise OR to include other values, like for example also deleted blobs if you have enabled soft delete. But in our case, we just want to get the active blobs and the metadata for them. Now the next parameter are the max results. We pass in null, then comes the token, and we just pass null for the other parameters. That's it. Now we load the metadata for the listed blobs. Let's see this in action and let's run the application. As you can see, the title and the description for the author MP4 file are loaded by default. Now the next step is to set metadata on a blob by clicking on this Update Metadata button.